That one. Can y'all hear me now? Finally, people commenting. Had to switch it up. Can y'all hear me now? Awesome. Dope. All right. I had some other stuff going on, so but yeah, so what y'all think about everything going on with the elections and all that craziness that's going on? What's y'all thoughts on the debates, the fly landing on Pence's head, and a host of other things that's going on in this doggone world? What's y'all thoughts on it? Still waiting on my sis. She gonna come in second. A mess. Very much. It's definitely a mess. Definitely a mess. Like I am thoroughly, thoroughly surprised that things are going the way they are. So may your streets be paved with gold. I might have to switch my camera. How's the camera quality there? Does it look good? This is my first time using this system, this StreamYard. So I want to make sure everything is good now that you guys can hear me. There she goes.
Hey,
There you go.
man, that was difficult. Let me tell you.
Hold on, they saying my camera fuzzy, so I'm gonna have to switch over my camera to. I don't want to use this because it's so blurry and it's ugly.
The other
All
one
right,
actually was better.
I think the other one is better too.
Yeah.
All right. I pray you catch your way. I started to wear my God is
Okay.
Dope shirt.
I had to because the representation.
All right,
You gotta have the representation going on.
exactly. A&T education. This Eagle Pride over here, son. Eagle Pride amplified.
It's always gonna be Aggie pride.
Eagle
Shout out
Pride.
to all my Aggies that are
Don't you see
watching.
the Eagle stuff going on? Don't you see I got the maroon shirt?
You see the gold?
anyways, but yeah,
It's all HBCU love.
it's all HBCU love, man. I'm actually it was funny. I was watching a race the other day. The what was it? The track and field qualifiers for the like Olympics or something that's going on. And
Mhm.
one of the chicks that was out there, she actually went to A&T and she was representing. I was like, okay, she lost, but she was representing. I was rooting for her. Oh, let me turn down Toad.
Look, she was there. The representation.
Right.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So we're
So
going to
what's
go
going
ahead
on,
and
bro?
get started. We have a lot to talk about, and we've been like messaging back and forth a lot. And not only that, but we have also been up to I won't say no good. We have a huge announcement that we'll announce in a second. But I wanted to start off by talking about like everything that's going on. Like I don't even have like a set agenda, a set anything. I just wanted to talk about what's going on. Mainly because
Hmm.
of the fact that we have some mess going on in these streets called
Man,
yeah, called in mess in these streets called what is it? Politics and the church and a whole bunch of stuff. Like it's just been uh the presidential debate was a poop show. And then
hmm
the vice presidential debate was actually a little bit better. But my thoughts on that, we kind of messaged back and forth about it. But
hmm
my thoughts on that was just that I honestly thought, and this is going to probably make a lot of people upset and mad and frustrated, and it might even make some people like think differently. I don't care, but I honestly thought that Kamala, or however you want to say her name, Kamala, I honestly
Hmm.
thought that she won the debate, and
I
we'll start
agree.
off with that. We'll start off with that. I feel like she won the debate mainly because of the fact that when it came to answering the questions, she actually did answer questions. Not only did she answer questions, but she also was able to give us some specific information as far as what Joe is going to be doing if he's elected president. Now,
Right.
this is no way me saying that I'm voting for Joe Biden, I'm voting for Trump, either one. No, I'm just saying I feel like she won clearly based off of the fact that she stuck to the narrative. She did her job as far as giving everybody what Joe Biden is all about,
Hmm.
pumping him up because this is not about her. It's all about
Right.
what can Joe do for the American people, for the country. There are moments where I felt that she was definitely coming for coming for Pitts. But the one moment I want to say that the one moment that I really did love and I respect the most was right in the beginning when right before they started off and they asked Pence the first question, and his first response was, "Hey, um, I want you to know that I respect you." He basically showed a lot of respect towards her by addressing the fact that she's the first, black female uh,
Hmm.
vice president nominee on a major ticket, on a major party ticket, and not only that, but understanding, what she's going through as far as being, her first time on the opposite side of of that spectrum. So I
Hmm.
really commended that. I felt like that was good because that showed unity.
Hmm.
That's the first time I probably seen unity from the no, not Trump Biden, but from the Trump Pence campaign on that
Yeah.
side. So what's your thoughts? Because I can keep talking and I can shut. I need to shut.
Um, I feel the same way that you feel. I really felt like Kamala held her own on that one. And let me just be the first to say, by no means am I a supporter of hers. I am not a fan. By
Right,
any means. I don't like a lot of the things she has done prior to getting to where she is now. However, what I will say is she has my respect as a black woman,
hmm,
as a woman in general, because it takes a lot for women to be able to get to the point where she is right now. And I think a lot of people are overlooking that. I think that they're just looking at it as oh, well, this is the party who she's running with, or this is what she did prior to then. No, let's give this black woman some respect. And
right,
even if we want to take race out of it, let's give this woman some respect. Because
right,
even when Hillary was running, it takes a lot for us to be able to be in a position that they are in or that Hillary was in, and I just feel like she just deserves a small little round of applause, so to say, congratulations, you made it there. But as far as that debate is concerned, I feel like it went way better than the presidential candidate debate. I mean, that one was just woo.
yeah. That presidential debate was
That was
embarrassing.
trash. That was like
Trash.
literally like me watching my kids on TV
Right.
going back and forth, complaining, bickering, doing all the other stuff. That was a mess. So I do feel like this one was more dignified. It was more professional. They both skated around questions. And
Hmm.
I just feel like, the questions that they did not want to answer, they said other stuff.
Yeah.
I feel as though that Pence, he did interject a lot. He
Hmm.
went over on his time a lot.
Hmm.
I even saw somebody comment, I was like, I timed him. Why did you do that? Like, who made you the
Already.
moderator?
Right.
Bye. Like, that was not your job to time how long each person was talking.
Right.
Like, so
Pastor Williams said two old dudes fighting in a nursing home. It's funny because like my wife, we watch Family Guy. And
mhm.
she said that the debate reminded her when we had, remember that episode in Family Guy when the two old guys were fighting in the nursing home and like just killing each other? That's what it reminded me of. And I'm like, yo, what in the world?
Right, right. And I just feel like, at the end of the day, I feel like they gave us a great debate. I do feel as though that there were a lot of things that were touched on or weren't touched on that I didn't necessarily agree with. One of the things that stuck out to me was when the question was asked about Breonna Taylor, and it really struck a nerve with me that Pence did not answer that question directly. He skated around it. And I had got to say that matters.
It does.
That matters. That response matters. The lack of the response even matters, because it's one of those things where it's like, okay, so if Trump kicks the bucket, you're up next, buddy. How do you feel about this? Versus Kamala, she was like, listen, I'm sorry. I reached out to her mom. I reached out to her family. If Biden is in office, this is what will be done. This is what can be done, etc. We do know that those things have to get approved, but I feel like her response to that was much better. It was neither one of their faults. It was neither one of our faults.
Right.
But I would be lying if I said, and it's not a biblical issue. Let's go ahead and say that. It's not a biblical issue, but it is a social issue that affects me, you, my family, your family. And the way that, Pence answered that question, that holds weight.
It does.
That holds weight. And, I could be jumping the gun and I may be talking too much, so I apologize, but I feel like as a Christian, we have got to look at other issues too that are just as important.
Yeah.
It can't just be oh, well, this lines up with this and this, forget everything else. You can't turn your cheek to one evil to recognize just one thing that's good.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. And so Pastor Darrell Williams, shout out to you, man. You have been a huge influence in my life. I'm pretty sure Felicia feels the same way.
Yes, that's actually my godfather. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah? God daddy. But yeah, so this comment that he made right here, glad you guys are talking about issues and policies instead of a fly on Pence's head and Kamala sideways faces. The thing that I want to talk about right there, and and you kind of alluded to it earlier when you were talking about when Pence was talking about he didn't really answer the question about Breonna Taylor. What he did say was he went on the rant of law enforcement, the same kind of narrative that Trump did, except his was a little bit more polished, a little bit more political. But his response was very eyebrow raising to me. And this is why, because the moment that he had that opportunity to say something about it, he aligned himself and say, well, I believe that the justice system is doing its job. And it's like the moment he said that, the minute that he started talking about that and how the justice system, it was like on cue. That fly just came in and said, boom. and I was just like,
over here.
Right. It was like the fly just knew that he was talking sideways. And the thing about it was just, I felt like he dropped the ball on that particular issue. That's just my personal opinion.
I agree.
When you see what's going on in our country today, you see so much unrest, there's political unrest, but you see so much unrest when it comes to blacks, whites, Hispanics, race issues. And instead of trying to build I won't say a narrative, but trying to unite everyone, he basically, right, instead of trying to unite, he just did the political route, which is common, to just align yourself with the group of people that you need to vote for or from. And I feel that, he failed in that one. Kamala, she responded in a good way. But then one of the things that I love that Pence actually did was call her out on her record. He said, "How can you
Yeah.
talk about Black Lives Matter when you basically locking folks up and you mainly Black folks in your community?" And
Yeah.
I mean, you can't ignore that. You really can't ignore that. But the fact of the matter is, I love the fact that she did take up for herself. I love the fact
Mhm.
that she did stand up for herself in that moment, because I feel like a lot of people have been attacking her because of that, which is honestly a legit attack. Because when you
It
look at
is.
the fact that she had the power to overturn and do some things different, she didn't. But at the same time, in that narrative, one could say she trusted the judicial system to play out.
Mhm.
So I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know. But I felt like this election season with both of the debates going on, and now we just got wind that the third debate is canceled because Trump don't want to do a virtual debate, which is
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, dude. You the one that got COVID-19 and started the outbreak, but we ain't gonna go that far.
Right. Right.
But
And just to piggyback off of what you said, I mean, as far as Kamala is concerned, you can kind of compare that to Obama too. You
yeah,
know, I really, really, really want for us to use our platform.
yeah,
That's the reason why I agreed to do this with you today, because I respect the fact that you're using your platform. I want to use my platform as well. We have to stop getting into the position, having the platform and not using them.
exactly.
When we have a chance to make a change, we don't do it.
Hmm.
And it's like the same thing. Someone made a comment today: Obama is our forever president. Not mine. I
Right,
love Obama. Don't get me wrong. I love Obama. I love the Obamas, but I mainly love them because of the representation. I love the fact that he brought a black family to the White House and he showed the cohesiveness. There was no scandals. There wasn't his daughters acting crazy. His wife was very respectful.
right,
There was no if they did have issues, they hid it very well. He showed the unity between him and Biden. He showed the fact that he loved his family.
yeah,
I think that is that right there was a lot. That was heavy, but heavy in a great way. The
yeah,
fact that our representation and our narrative changed
yeah.
with him in office. Now, to say that he did something for us as a group, he fell short.
He fell short. He fell
you
flat.
know, Uncle Barack didn't do as much as we thought that he did. And,
Right,
that's no shade. That's just calling a spade and not sugarcoating anything and, giving it to you straight. He did more for the LGBTQ community than he did for the Black community. And while he was in office, we had so many young Black men lose their lives. And we don't know what policies were brought to the table. I would have much rather seen something be brought to the table and saw it be shot down than to see everything else being brought to the table and it getting approved.
right.
We don't know what he could have done, what changes could have been made. I am thankful for the Obamacare because that did help a lot of people out. A lot of people complain about it, but honestly, there are a lot of people who were able to get health insurance who weren't able to get it before. I'm not going to go into that one so much because he's not on the ballot, but I bring him up to compare him to Kamala.
Yeah,
These are two very powerful Black men and Black women who had a platform who didn't necessarily use their platform to our advantage.
right,
And I've often been saying this when it comes down to a candidate, I really want to see a candidate that is for us.
right,
Not to say I don't care about everybody else, but be for us.
right.
You know, have our best interest at heart. You have the same fight that we have. You have the same struggle that we have. I don't care if you had an encounter with the police in a negative light or not, or your family members. I don't care if it hasn't hit home. Home is when you see it happen to everybody else because it's a possibility of you being next.
Exactly. You're right.
And I just want us to make a habit of saying, okay, this is what I want to see from my people. This
Mhm.
is what's needing to be done. And to be completely honest with you, I don't feel comfortable voting until I see a candidate who has my best interest at heart, your best interest at heart, that lines up with my biblical practices and views.
Mhm.
it has to be a total package.
Now,
I cannot
you said
say.
that biblical practice and views. Now, now everyone knows. You on this live, everyone knows. Um, that is kind of like the overarching. I won't say the overarching truth, but that's like the overarching thing, and that's kind of honestly, I've been wrestling with the title for what we're going to be doing. I'm not going to get that
Mm-hmm.
out just yet, but biblical views. Vote. That's what we've been hearing a lot. Vote biblical. Vote your biblical views. And a lot of times when I hear that, all I hear is vote Republicans because Republicans are the only ones that really hold biblical views, biblical values. And yes, they are strong against abortion. Yes, they are strong against same-sex marriage. Yes, they are strong against other things that align biblically.
I
But
don't see those
when
other things
you,
though, TJ. I don't mean to cut you off. I only see those two.
yeah, I mean, it's really, I mean, those are the two major things. But when you look at other policies and things like that, there are some stuff we woven in there, but it's so far down of a stretch. But what's interesting to me is that the Democrats, yes, they have policies that go against the Bible. Yes, they have policies that go against a lot of the things that um, that Christians or evangelicals, in a sense, disagree with. But when you look at majority of their policies, is really to benefit people. There are things that in there that are hidden and woven in there that are like, whoa, it's like,
Yeah.
I can't support that. But when you look at largely in totality, everything that's presented to you, it's like, man, I would say they have more of a biblical service heart than the Republicans do. Now, people, if whoever's heard listening to this and you're a Republican, you want to chime in, go ahead and put the comments up there. I don't really care. I'm not gonna.
Please do. Let
Yeah,
us address them.
right.
Be
Because
bold.
I'm
Be
not
just as
gonna.
bold as you've
I'm
been
not
in
gonna.
those
We're
other
not gonna
comments.
shun you. We're not gonna, turn you away and whatnot. But I know a lot of people when we talk about voting biblically, their alignment is with Trump, and it's just so
Mm-hmm.
hard to. For me, it's hard to align myself with Trump biblically when this guy has shown us a lot of unbiblical stuff. The
Mm-hmm.
only thing that he has really done biblically is he stood by his word by moving the embassy from wherever to Israel. He stood by Israel. He's done some great things as far as writing executive orders and stuff and getting things passed to protect abortion rights and things like that. But when it comes to like everything else, and this is I'm kind of leading into something else. When it comes to everything else that really matters, he is dropping the ball. And that's where I feel like when people say vote your values, vote your biblical values, they're missing in
The
totality
point.
everything that really matters
Yeah.
biblically. Because to me, this election is more than just voting for abortion and same-sex marriage. It's more than that. Like I have
It
kids,
is.
and not only do I have kids, but I'm in ministry, and I'm always constantly thinking about people in the communities, people that don't make as much money as me, people who are less fortunate. I'm always thinking about them, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like the Democrats do cater to that side of the fence more than the
Mm-hmm.
Republicans, but at the same time, it's like it's like a big ball of for me a big ball of confusion. But I
It
know,
is.
like I piggybacking on what you're saying. Like I honestly don't feel comfortable voting for either one in this election. That's just me being 100% honest to God, hand on the Bible truth with you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel comfortable voting for either one. I don't feel like either one will do their best to elevate us. Now we're gonna talk about policies. Trump did pass the platinum package. The platinum package for black folk. That sounds just so horrible, in my opinion. Like I can't think of a package that could sound more racist. I'm not calling Trump a racist. I'm just saying I just can't think of a
But
package
he
that sounds
is.
more racist
Let's
than
call
the
it
platinum
spade a
package
spade.
because the platinum package sounds like something straight out of a movie.
Right.
Never in a
Right.
million years would I thought or think that we would have a platinum package specifically catered for black
Mm-hmm.
people. platform. Now, what's in the package? I'm not going to lie. I love what's in the package. There's a lot of things that's going to help small Black business owners and things like that. But my issue is, why did you wait until the month before your election to release this, to pull this out? It's like,
but you know why?
To get the, yeah, I know it's to get the votes, but I'm like, you pulled this out as a last ditch effort instead of you should have introduced this way back in 2016 when you were running for president the first time. But
yeah, and then his statement of, what the age do you have to lose?
between him saying that with the age you have to lose, and then Joe Biden saying you ain't Black if you don't vote for me, I'm like, bro,
exactly.
These are the two candidates that we have to choose from. So yeah,
I was just about to say that. Like, is this what America has come to?
This is what we have. This is what we have to offer.
My friend made a post the other day saying, "Guys, the rapper coming, just let me know. Let me know now." And I was like, "Yes, Lord, prepare me, because this ain't it."
At all.
This ain't
and we just call it like we see it. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, and talk to you and to partner with you in this thing, because your podcast, you can talk a little bit about it, but your podcast, you give it straight, no chaser. You talk about a lot of things. You keep it 100. So you can talk about that a little bit if you want to give yourself a little shameless plug.
Well, I don't mind doing that. So yes, I do have a podcast. It's called A Dose of Fee, where I give it to you straight, no chaser. Pretty much what that means is there's no sugarcoating. It's straight down to the bottom of the line. I don't tiptoe. I don't walk on eggshells, but at the same time, I don't purposely try to offend anybody. I feel like today we live in such a world where you cannot disagree. You can't look at the sky, call it blue, know it's blue, without somebody getting mad and saying, "Hey, but you didn't recognize the shades of yellow." The sky is blue.
It's blue.
So we're going to call it blue. And I just feel like, we really need people who aren't afraid to stand up for what they believe in. We need people who aren't afraid to take a stand and tell somebody, "Hey, no, you're wrong." And, that's pretty much the purpose of my podcast. And, like I said, I don't do it to condemn. I don't do it to pass judgment, because honestly, if you really know me outside of social media, you will know I'm very caring. I am very lively, full of personality, and I will give the stranger the shirt off my back, and I'm not going to ask for it back afterwards. And I'm not going to count that as a favor, and I really just want to see people win, but you can't win when you're in bondage. And your mind has shackles around it. And, I really want my podcast to be one of the ones that is used to break those chains. That allows people to think outside of the box, look at it a different way. Just because for the past 10 years you've been told to do this and do this and do this and do this doesn't make it right. And we get so caught up in wanting a leader, wanting a savior, that we believe the most comfortable thing that we see, instead of taking the time to say, "Hey, that ain't right," or "Hey, I could do this a different way." So that's why my podcast is straight, no chaser. I'm not about to sit here and lead you down this thing and say it's sprinkles and fairies. No, it is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
It's also a safe place for people to agree to disagree. I also would love to see people be able to agree to disagree with their neighbor. Going back to biblical principles and biblical values, the number one thing that God calls us to do as Christians is to love one another. I would say it again. Love one another. You cannot possibly love your neighbor and you condemn them just because they don't think the same that you do. Or you can't possibly do what the Bible is saying by saying love one another if someone lives a different lifestyle than you, you look down on them and you don't show the love of Christ towards them. I always say, I don't have to agree with you to love you or to show you respect. I don't. Like, it's a lot of things that people do that I don't agree with. But if they needed me, or if I was to see them out, hey, how are you? It's nothing. If they needed something, if I saw somebody in need, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the agreeing to disagree on the outward,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to still walk that same path. A lot of people destroy their ministry when they
Mm-hmm.
don't love.
Right.
When they
And
don't see
like, and
that.
I love that because everything that you're saying lines up with what One Faith is all about.
Yes.
One Faith is just basically about one faith. It's based on the biblical principle or the scripture, Ephesians 4:5, one Lord, one faith, one baptism. I focus in on that one faith portion because when you see everything that's going on in the world today, we have people who are on the left, people who are on the right, and everybody kind of like in the middle. And yet we
Mm-hmm.
all say that we are Christians. One Faith is about removing those barriers, removing those things that we have set up in place to have these conversations, to show unity, even if we disagree. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we can have differences, but we can still love one another. We can still be cordial
Yeah.
with one another. We can have differences. I don't have to agree with everything that you agree with, but I'm gonna still love you. I'm gonna still care for you. I'm gonna still be there for you. And even if we disagree, I'm gonna still support you. And no matter what, and whatever you're doing, like, unless you're doing something that goes against my religion, and I can't support that wholeheartedly, then I'm not gonna do it. But other than that, like, that's what One Faith is all about. It's about unity, promoting unity. It's about showing that biblical agape love to everyone, regardless of
Mm-hmm.
if you're a believer or not. It's like what you said earlier. Be kind, show love to one another. That's one of the biggest principles that I have with One Faith. Like, I want to display that love for people. I don't care if we
Mm-hmm.
have differences. I don't care if you support Trump. I don't care if you support Joe Biden. I don't care if you support Joe Jorgensen. If anybody that knows who Joe Jorgensen is,
I don't.
but I don't care. I don't care if you support those people. I'm not going to throw you away. I'm not going to shun you to the side. I'm not going to tell you to unfriend me if you just that. Nah, I want you. I
Right.
want to talk to you. Like, I want to have those conversations. I want to understand your thought process. I want to understand these things. Like, and I feel that that's how we grow. That's honestly how we
Mm-hmm.
grow as people. That's how we grow together. Like, you're not going to grow or get to know anyone even more if you both of you guys just agree on everything. If you guys agree on everything, then that's just who you are. I mean, they're pretty
Exactly.
much carbon copy of you. But if you disagree and you have those conversations, you get to learn more about what these people are, what the other person is, and you find something that you both can agree on, and you love each other off of that. Because I had
Mm-hmm.
so many conversations with my series "What's Your Why" with different pastors and ministers. There were
Mm-hmm.
things I didn't agree with, but I love the fact that we had the conversations. I love the fact that we
Right.
had time to talk about these things, and we uncovered a lot of stuff. We got to the root of things, and I just love the fact that we could come together and talk about these things, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what this is all about. Even with the politics and everything that's going on, Christians have been showing their behinds like crazy this political season because they align themselves too much with, with one side and or the other side instead of aligning yourself with Christ. And that's what being a Christian is all about. You have to be more like Christ than be more like a Republican or to be more like a Democrat or to be more like an independent. You have to align yourself with Christ. Christ was not in any of these political arenas. If Christ came back today, or if he was in the earth today, say all the stuff, the resurrection, everything like that, if that stuff took place today, I will stand on the word of God. I do not believe God, he would be in any political side. He would not take sides. He would be on the side of being about my father's business. Are you about my father's
Mm-hmm.
business? And that's what it's all about. Do you love your
And
neighbor?
there's no gray area in that.
No
There's
great
no gray area. There cannot be and this is honestly what, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but this is what I have been saying to myself and to other people. You cannot call yourself a Christian and then say, oh, well, I'm completely comfortable casting my vote for this person. Honestly, I honestly feel, and I'm not telling nobody not to vote. If you want to vote, you go ahead and you do your thing. That's your prerogative. That's your business.
right.
Okay, that's your business. It has nothing to do with me, which candidate you choose. But please, please, please stop using your faith as a reason why you're choosing a candidate, because the candidate who you're saying that you're choosing because of your faith does not line up with Christ.
Right.
He doesn't line up with Christ.
Right.
Stop it. You are making yourself sound foolish. He does not line up with Christ. There is nothing about him that is Christ-like other than the abortion and same-sex marriage. Mm-hmm. There is a ton of other things about this man. And people say, oh, well, you had to take his personal out of it. He's a person.
He's a person, period. He's going to always be a person.
Exactly. He's a human being.
Right.
Like, he is going to have flaws. Yes, we know that. But what are his flaws? Mm-hmm. What goes on up here? What has he told you? How has he told you he feels about you as an individual?
Yep.
You know, it goes beyond race even. You know, it's how does this person line up with everything? Like I said earlier, you can't turn one cheek to evil just to see one good thing. No, evil is evil. And a lot of people don't even understand that racism is very demonic.
It is very demonic. And the thing that bothers me is that so many of our, and I hate to call you out, but I have to, so many of our white evangelical pastors are not preaching against racism and not holding their flock accountable to that sin. That sin can keep you out of heaven because you are not loving your neighbor as you love yourself. And that's one of the only commandment that really Christ said, love your neighbor, love everyone. Like above all else, love your neighbor, love people. And I feel like we are dropping the ball. Christians in general in this season have dropped the ball so many times just because of their witness. So many Christians have lost their witness. And honestly, so many Christians have lost my respect. We can agree or disagree, but you've lost my respect because that you have, you have shown that you are not truly Christ-like. I mean, at the end of the day, people need hope. People need a savior. People need something to cling to. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to cling on that if they see your representation of Christ and your representation of Christ is not Christ-like.
Or the church.
Let's
talk about that. That's just segue into something else. We have to stop questioning why people are leaving the church when people in the church are behaving the way they behave. I wouldn't want to go to the church either if I didn't go to the church that I go to now. Let me just tell you, Miracle Temple Ministries is bomb. Mm-hmm. Bomb. When First Lady Yvonne Wright says that our doors swing on love hinges, she means it. We meet no stranger. We show love to every single person who walks through that door, no matter what color you are, we are a multicultural church. Mm-hmm. We have a little bit of everybody in there. And when I tell you there's no discrimination, we all get along. We all are there to love the Lord. We all love the Lord. We're all there to hear the word. It's not a fashion show. It's not a who can shout better. It's not a who can sing better. It's not about who's tithing the most and who's getting. No, we are there for one reason. And we have to stop looking at people who leave the church as, oh, they love God. No, they love your establishment because of the way that y'all treat people.
You got to say that again because I was loud. Say that again. Guy, you hit it. When people, because that's the thing that kills me. Just because they left your church don't mean they love God.
Don't mean they love God. I've had so many people come to me, honestly, and I will say this: the church that we came from, I'm not going to call out names because I'm not in that business, but the church that we came from, I have had people come to me. Are you still saved? Why wouldn't I be saved?
Why? You lost your salvation because you don't go to church no more.
Why wouldn't I be saved? Like, I love the Lord and so do my kids. As for me and my house,
we will serve the Lord.
We do serve the Lord. You hear me?
Come on.
Like, just because I decided to leave your building doesn't mean that Christ left from inside of my heart.
Come on.
That just means that I feel as though that I can benefit up under someone else's teaching. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't mean that there's any love lost. There doesn't mean that there's any less respect. That doesn't mean that I look at you guys any different. You know, that's not the case. I'm not any less saved than you. And just because you can pick up your feet and shuffle and shout more than I can or more than I do doesn't mean that my relationship with God is not stronger or
Right.
as strong as yours is.
Right.
You know, we got to stop doing that. Like you said, we lose our witness every single time we condemn. We lose our witness every single time someone leaves the church because of us.
Mm-hmm. Because
And a
of us.
lot of people, they don't think about that. What have you done? What
Mm.
did you do to make that member feel? How did you make that member feel?
Mm.
Because a lot of
You know
times
what?
it's
Go
not
ahead.
even the head, it's the members.
You're right. You know what? I was on a conference call this past Monday with some pastors and some young pastors in the area, and gosh, we was hitting that same subject. We were talking about that, talking about how we have shunned so many people and turned so many people away in our churches by just the sermons that we preach. And these are pastors that saying that. These are pastors
Mm-hmm.
that's submitting this. And when they were saying that, it just automatically made me think, I wonder how many people we have sent to hell. Not saying that we've said that you going to hell because you live in a sinful lifestyle. No, I'm talking about the people who come to our churches and they are truly hurting. They truly need a word. And the only thing they hear from us is them bashing them. And that may be their last option or their last bit of hope to go into church and getting something out of God. And yet they come to our churches or they come to any they come to those churches or they go to those churches and the pastor is bleeding over the pulpit and condemning everything that they're doing. That person has left God and they may not have ever been saved. And if that person left God and they're mad and angry at God because of that experience, know that is not solely on them. That's on you and your representation of who Christ is.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you're
it
gonna have
takes
to
a
give
lot to
an account
get
for
him
that when
back
you get to heaven.
in.
Like, and I just thought,
Yeah.
like, how many people we've sent to hell because of that? There's so many people that we've sent to hell because of that. They
Yep.
have died, and we can't give them.
Yes.
And I just think
Yep.
about stuff all the time. I really do. Like, I have a heart for people. I have a heart for that stuff because I really want to see, like you said earlier, I want to see people win. And you
Mhm.
can't win when you're in bondage. That's you need to
Mhm.
put that on a t-shirt. But that is the honest to God truth. You can't win when you're in bondage. I know for
Mhm.
us when we moved down here, we went through a lot. And shout out to our pastor. And this since it's Pastor Appreciation Month, let's go ahead and shout out to pastors. Pastor Craig S. Pickett Sr., who is also my uncle. But his church, his church, Breakthrough Ministry Church of God in Christ, has shown me and my wife so much love and
Mhm.
so much affection. Even while we were going through some of the roughest times in our transition, they showed us a tremendous amount of love and support. There were even situations where we went through some things, and when I asked the pastor how to handle it, he said, "How do you want to handle it?" Or he, or he said to handle it the way that you would as if you were a pastor. And
Mhm.
it's those kind of affirming things that has shown me, a true heart or the true love that a pastor has for his flock. Because he knows me. First of all, we have plenty of conversations. He knows me, but at the same time, like the love and support that they have shown us has outweighed any negative experience that we've ever had in our lives. And
Mhm.
that's not to throw shade on anyone or anything like that. That's just
Right.
God truth. I love my uncle. I love our church. I love what we're doing. I love the fact that we have a presence in the community. And I love the fact that people respect him. I love that.
Right.
They don't respect
Yes.
him because he's the pastor and he has this honorable title and esteemed position. No, they respect him because of how he respects them and how he loves them. And they
And
love
because of the man that he is. And
exactly.
see, that's the thing also with my pastor, and I didn't say his name, Pastor Carlos, right? And today is actually his birthday. Happy birthday, Pastor.
Happy
Um,
birthday, Pastor.
his audio matches his video. And a lot of people, they don't look at that.
Mm-hmm,
What you're saying should reflect, your actions should reflect what you say.
mm-hmm,
The type of man that you are while you're on the pulpit should be the type of man that you are when you're in the grocery store.
yeah,
You can't turn that pastor or minister or elder, you can't turn that off.
Right.
It's a calling. You should walk in your, and you should be walking in your calling if you're truly called, because some people get that confused. Some
Right.
people are not called
Right.
and they try to be. You're not. It's a place for you, but this ain't the place,
For
baby.
real, you're not.
Um, you're not.
Get somewhere and
Try
sit down.
again, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay, because that's a very heavy mantle,
Right.
and I don't want it. But so that should all line up.
Yeah.
And like you were saying about your pastor, and this is honestly what I admire about a lot of people who are in ministry, the ones who are doing it the right way, is the fact that you know, they walk the straight and narrow. That's
Mhm.
not to say that you won't get thrown off course, but that means that you walk it and you talk it. You preach, you preach, the way that you live your life.
Right.
There's no difference. I'm not gonna find a different, Carlos Wright on the golf course because he loves the
Right.
golf than I am at Miracle Temple on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So, I can definitely respect that and appreciate that.
Yeah.
And just to go back to a point that you made about how many people we sit still, there are so many people who are hurting right now. There are so many people who are looking for direction. They're looking for healing. They're looking for companionship. They're looking for comfort. They're looking for love, and we live in a time where judgment is so easy to pass.
It's so easy to pass.
And it's not a judgment according to the Bible, it's judgment according to your own personal.
Hmm.
And that is when judgment is bad.
Right.
You're not judging them against biblical principles. And even then, God still calls you to do what? Love them.
Love them.
So, how is it that you're going to bring them to Christ when you condemn?
Hmm.
And like you said, when you send them to hell, you
Hmm.
can't bring them to Christ if you're sending them to hell. Now, preaching someone out of their sin, I do agree with that. I'm not going to see you out here and, you live in life one way and I just make it okay just because I'm told to love you. No, I'm going to tell you that you're wrong. You're
Right.
wrong,
Right.
and this is how you get right.
Right.
And that's a lot of times we skip that part. A
Right.
lot of times we skip that part. We so quick to be like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. But we skip over but let me tell you how to get right though. And
But
not only let
more
me tell you how
that's
to get right.
discipleship. We missed that
Yes.
part because we're so quick to jump on someone and judge them instead of actually judging them, showing them how to do it right, and then coming alongside them and actually helping them to do better. Instead,
And
we
then
just
following up
right
and
and then
sticking with
following
them.
up.
Yep.
And then following up. Like all that
Yep.
stuff matters in the church. And for some odd reason, most of our churches don't do that. Like we would heavily condemn, heavily send people to hell and judge instead of actually coming alongside, coming beside them, saying, "Hey, I understand you struggling in this area. If it's homosexual, I understand you struggling in that area. I understand that you may not be delivered 100% right now. That's fine. It is our hope that you will be one day, but I'm going to come alongside you and I'm going to help you and I'm going to show you the way and I'm going to be there for you. Even if you slip and fall, I'm still going to be there for you. Even if you
Mm-hmm.
decide to go back in that lifestyle, I'm still going to be here waiting for you or still going to be here by your side." It kind of reminds me of a situation when I was in college, and it's kind of going off on a little tangent. But I remember when I was in college and there was a guy that would he was homosexual and nobody wanted to deal with him because he was homosexual. And I purposely went on my way to befriend him. I was like, "What, nobody's talking to you? Like, what's wrong with you?" And he was like, "Well, nobody want to be my friend because I'm gay." I was like, "That's messed up." So I started cutting his hair, and as I started cutting his hair, because I cut hair in college, and I started to get to know him, I got to know a lot about who he was as a person. And because of that, he started asking me questions about the Bible. He started asking me questions about salvation. He started asking me questions about things. And I feel that so many of our churches are missing that. Like we are so ready to say you're going to hell for being gay, but how are you showing them the right way to live? Like we so quick to condemn those people, but we are slow to move when somebody's beating their wife in the church. Slow to move when someone is sleeping with when the choir director or someone is sleeping in the choir is sleeping with somebody in the choir. Like or
And
when
they
a
have
girl
that
is sending
abortion that you're
nasty text
preaching against
messages
so
to
heavy.
huh?
I say they have that abortion that you're preaching against so heavy.
So heavy. Or one of the elders sending nasty texts to females in the church. Like it's stuff like that that really is bothersome. Yes, baby. Oh, I thought you were coming. My wife is my producer. Sometimes she kind of come out the room and
Yes, Misha. I told you the other day she is a mess.
she be keeping me straight. But it ain't a wallet. Mm. But it might be in the car. All right, so we going back. We reining it back in. So yeah, so we covered a lot. We talked about Christians. I told y'all we're gonna talk about Christians. You read it right. We talking about Christians. A lot of the issues that
Because we have a higher calling. We have a high. It's a greater mantle placed on us. I mean, you cannot profess Christ and walk and you like this and you wobbling. You look like a drunk man. You know, like I said, we cannot keep on professing Christ and defeating our whole entire witness and throwing it in the trash. We
right.
can't do that. You cannot win souls and minister and um disciple and you can't do all of that when you're not right with in here.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not right in here, if you are just looking to condemn, to judge, to send to hell, who is you helping, little baby? Nobody.
Nobody. You helping yourself.
Nobody. You're not even helping yourself. You putting yourself in a further deficit. You know, and by no means am I perfect. I'm not gonna sit here and profess because I already know somebody probably about to go through. Oh, she did this. She did
Oh, you know
that.
they're lurking.
Yeah, I don't care. You did too. You did too.
You know they lurking.
Right. You know, but but you know, I'm also not one of the ones who are, going to condemn somebody because they don't have the same walk as me.
Right.
And I feel like that's what's more important, for us to realize, hey, this person may be stronger on this end, or this person may be stronger on this end. And like I said, we are in the need of love. We are in a time where we need healing, and you never know who God is going to send to you to pray for them.
You're right.
You never know. You never know who God is going to place on in your path to give a scripture to. I mean, I was at work last week, and I had this one guy. We were in a group, and he was telling me, he was like, "Yeah, I suffer with anxiety and depression." And I'm gonna be honest with you. I wanted to say something to him like, "Hey, you need to pray. Do you go to church?" I missed my opportunity.
Yeah.
I missed my opportunity. And granted, it didn't necessarily leave because I still had his contact information and I can still reach out to him. And as a matter of fact, I am. But in that moment, that was my time.
Yep.
And I missed it because I was looking at, boy, why are you being so weak? And that's just me being honest. I'm honest.
Right.
I'm just sitting here thinking like, boy, you ain't got no kids. I
Right.
got two whole rugrats running around this place, and you talking about depression and anxiety. Oh boy, stop. But that was my mindset, and I had to check myself. And so I say that to say, you never know who God is going to send your way. But when you don't line up, and when you're not in the right mental, and when you're not good in here, you miss those opportunities. You miss every single opportunity
Right.
to pray for somebody, to be a witness to somebody,
Yep.
to say, hey, come to church with me. And even if you can't come with me, meet me there,
Right.
or go to this church, because it is okay to recommend someone to go to someone else's church that's different than yours. You just want to make sure they're in the presence of God. So, I just say that to say we have to protect our witness in our ministry.
You're right. You are so right. So, man, so yeah, we covered a lot. I mean, this topic is very you can tell this topic is very near and dear to us, and very sentimental to us as well, because like these are things that we deal with on a day-to-day basis. To piggyback on your point about depression and mental illness and things like that, I it's kind of a shameless plug for me, but I actually just did a podcast episode with one of my great friends, my brother in Christ, Minister Dave Ebert out of Illinois. And he gave his testimony on depression and suicide. And I actually gave my testimony on depression and suicide as well. So if y'all are nosy and want to know what my testimony is, go and listen to the episode on the podcast, and you'll be blessed. But those are two areas that I feel the church is very negligent in. And I'm not going to say all church, the whole church as a large body is negligent in that area. I feel
Right.
like there are a lot of churches that do single out and do ministries catered specifically to that area, and I love it. And honestly, another shout out to the Brandy Banks of the Forgiveness Movement. That's what her movement is all about. It's all about
Yes.
depression, helping people with mental illness issues. She's praying for them. She's constantly with you. And so that's a little shameless plug for her too. But
Mm-hmm.
but these are issues in the Black church that we need to address. Like, we need to really figure out a way to do better. And it goes back to discipleship, but we have to figure out a better way to do better with discipleship in that area. I'm not saying that, if you feel like you about to jump off a cliff, go talk to the pastor. But, for some reason, it's like taboo in our churches or in our community to go and seek, counseling. Go
Yes.
counseling.
I was just about to say that it's considered demonic and you're looked at as you have demons in you when, there are certain scientific things that are in the body where you have chemical imbalances
Mm-hmm.
and it causes an adverse reaction, and that's not necessarily a demon. Now, that's not to say that people don't walk around with demons all in them. You play with them little spirits and the crystals and find out. Say, now, let me just stop. But
Burn that sage in y'all house. See?
you gotta stop. But there are things that go on in the human body, and let me just say, pastors are amazing, but they are not social workers and psychiatrists.
Mm-hmm.
They are not, guidance counselors. They do not have those credentials. They are called to preach and to lead you and to show you in the Bible. There are, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but these aren't new issues. These were things that were going on in the Bible times as well.
Yeah.
So, it's important to get the help that you need. And it's important for us to stop looking at people who do suffer from anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar, and, categorizing them as, oh, he's demon possessed.
Right.
No, that's not necessarily true. This person needs help. And trauma causes that.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of look at the history of a person and what they've gone through, and I thank God every single day that I am in my right mind, because I've gone through things, and I'm not going to share that testimony right now because I have an episode about that coming up on my podcast.
Shameless plug.
But, right, I've gone through things that I feel as though that if I wasn't rooted in Christ, I would have probably taken myself out.
Yeah.
And that is just the honest to God truth, because it was that heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't just a one time thing. I mean, like, I've gone through things. I've gone through divorce.
Mm-hmm.
I am a single mom. I've gone from, having my husband and my two children to it just being me.
Mm-hmm.
And my kids are 18 months and a day apart. That's hard. That's heavy, but I always go back to Christ.
Yeah.
And certain people who don't have their foundation right, because we all were raised in the church.
Right.
Certain people are just starting out. Get them the help that they need. Hug them. Sometimes all they need is a hug and a listening ear, and that will make the difference.
Mm-hmm. You're right. You're right. So, well, we've been on this thing for a while. Well, it's got started a little bit late. We were on CP time, but I think that is actually a great segue to our big announcement. What we got planned up our sleeves.
Yeah.
So I'm actually going to add a little ticker in just a second. But
Okay.
what we have planned, and this is for everybody that's listening, either now on a delayed basis. I am more than happy. I'm actually excited about this. I can't wait for this.
Yes.
Like, go ahead, everybody that's listening, go ahead and block off your calendar for October 30th. It's actually my father's birthday, but October 30th, same time, 7 o'clock. We gonna start on time. 7 o'clock. We gonna start on time.
Technical issues.
Right, we had some technical issues and everything, but we gonna get all that sorted out before then. We got to from now to October 30th, but we are going to have a panel discussion on October 30th about politics, about the church, about things that really matter to us. It's specifically targeted and geared towards politics and the church. Um, and I've been playing around with the actual title, and I've been praying, asking God, like, God, what should the title be? And it's funny, and I kind of alluded to earlier. We were talking about vote your values, and that's what I want to use the title as: voting your values, because I feel like we are in a unique time and place where we are talking about vote your values, but what does that really mean? And we have some awesome guests. We have some dope guests. And hold on, let me. We have some dope guests that's going to be a part of this panel, and I can't wait to get this thing going, because when it happens, it's going down, y'all. It's going down.
Yes.
We have Republicans, we have Democrats, we have independents, we have, and everybody's Christian, and we have people who are coming together to have this discussion so that we can all connect to something. Whether you are Republican, come and listen to some Democrats. If you're a Democrat, come and listen to some Republicans. If you're independent like me, come and listen to both sides and get a good observation of what's going on. Our guests, man, I am excited to announce this because we have so many dope guests. I'm going to start with the very first guest. The first guest we have is a wonderful. She is such a dope individual. She is an author, and she has a ministry where she ignites the fire. The first guest is Shay Bynes, out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We had a conversation the other day, and God, it was a really good conversation. She is an awesome woman of God. She is independent. She is Christ. She's a Christian. She is Christ-minded, and her political view is coming from her background, which has been in Democratic, but she is more of an independent, and she is more Christ-like now. And that is her whole ideal and her perspectives now when it comes to voting and when it comes to helping people figure that stuff out. So Shay Bynes, that's our first guest. I'm gonna throw that in the banner. We have let me see. We have Shay Bynes, and then next we have a awesome pastor. He is sorry, I'm just typing out. I have to type this out in real time.
Look, you got it. You got
I'm doing a lot
it.
of work. I don't have a producer, so it's just me. I'm doing this all by myself, and I'm good at multitasking, but this is my first time operating this stuff. So if y'all judging and condemning, then never mind.
You doing good. You doing good. You doing good.
Yeah. No, that's one more person. Oh, yeah. This person, I'm excited about this person.
It sounds like we're gonna have a great starting lineup with this one. They don't want to miss it.
Start line up. So so we have Keith Giles, awesome pastor. He is an author as well. He has actually been featured on CNN. He's been featured on some other broadcasts. He has a book, which is, I believe he posted the other day. It was like number 56 on Amazon bestsellers list.
Oh, wow.
I believe it's Jesus Unchained or something like that. But he is dope. Like, we had a conversation the other day, a couple, like last week or so, and his perspective on this has just been so awesome. Like, oh my gosh. Hold on, we got a panel person hit me up right now. And like he was a Republican for so long. He was an evangelical Republican, and he's coming out of that field, and he's now Christ-like. I can
Mhm.
read their bios, but I'm gonna do that when we get close, when the actual panel hits. But
Mhm.
this guy, he is anointed. Like I remember reading. I'm just give you a little bit of his bio. He's a pastor, and he was a pastor of a big church. I won't say it was a mega church or anything. It was a big church, a significant, a good sized church. He left that to start his own ministry, to where 100% of the tithes, the offering, the profit that comes into that church, it goes out to the community. He
Oh
gives
wow.
to other people, and he has such an awesome ministry. Keith Giles, that is my guy. I can't wait to have this conversation with him and Shay Bynes. Third panel guest is going to be my brother in Christ, my cousin, my fellow elder at Ministry Church of God in Christ, Elder Omar Pickett. He is representing I would say he would be representing the Democrat side. He's independent, but he's going to be representing the Democrat side. He's excited about this. He can't stop texting me about it. He can't wait because he
I've
loves to
seen his
debate,
post.
right? He loves to debate. He loves to talk about this stuff. I'm not 100% great in politics area. I look at stuff and I call it what I see it. And
Mhm.
that's it. But there's some stuff that goes on deeper, that's in there. I don't know none of that stuff. They know all the stuff. That's why I'm bringing them on this panel to talk about this stuff, because I'm gonna learn some stuff from these people too.
Right. We both gonna learn.
Right. So Omar Pickett, he is awesome. He is an awesome man of God, and I am excited to have him on the panel. Next, we have my brother. Man, this guy is hilarious. Not only is he hilarious, but man, we connected a while back on Facebook. We share each other's content all the time, and man, this guy is just super hilarious. We were texting the other day, going back and forth, and he's excited about this entire panel as well. He's a Republican, and he's actually a Black conservative. Shout out to the Black conservatives. I love y'all, regardless of what people say. I love y'all. I love having him on this panel because of his opinions and because of
Mhm.
his stance on things. I love it, and he actually is the author too. He has a book coming out, and it's about, it's not political. No, yeah, it's not political. It's biblical, which is a great
Mm.
book. Yeah, it's a great book. I put my order in, I put my bid in. I'm trying to get it so, so I can
I'm gonna
start
have to
reading.
order that.
Right? We got 3 books to order so far. Well, Omar got a book
Right.
coming out too, but I'll let him talk about that whenever he wants to. So we got 4 authors on this
We're
panel.
gonna be reading.
We're gonna learn some stuff today. I'm telling y'all.
Exactly.
So Keith Robinson, he is a dope guy. He's done a lot of work in the political arena. He has done a lot for a lot of the state and local level political figures in his state. I believe he's out of Michigan, and
Mhm.
he has done tremendous work, great work, man. I love this brother to death, man. I will fight people if you come across him wrong. Like, that's my guy. We've never met, but that's my guy. We never met personally, but that's my guy. We connected on a deep level through Facebook and through our conversations and everything. So that's my guy. So I'm excited about having him on the panel. And last but certainly not least, the last panel guest, man. Um, I'm just gonna let it scroll across the ticker who we got coming across, because this brother, he has been such an influence. Sorry, I can't talk. Such an influence in my life, so
Mhm.
much so that I am excited to have him on this panel. When I initially put the post out, his wife actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, we would love to be a part of this because this is right up our alley." And I'm like, "Yeah,
Mhm.
I need both of y'all," but if she may be able to join if they can find, all the stuff for the kids, everything going on, because they're parents, they're God
Right.
fearing people. But I am excited to have him on the panel. He's going to definitely be on there. He's like Felicia. He gives it to you straight raw, no chase, all that good stuff.
He ain't
And
scared of none of y'all
he
either.
ain't scared of none of y'all. I ain't scared of none of y'all. But we have my good brother, the Reverend, the Elder Charles Brown, aka what you say now, Chuck. We have him on the panel, and he's closing out our panel. He is a great addition because I love his views on everything. He inspired me as when I was in college campus ministry to really dig deeper in the Bible and to learn more about God because I saw the fire in him and how much he loved God. And I mean, yeah, I'm kind of confessing some stuff. Yeah, I looked up to him. Like I looked up to him a lot because of his stance, his views, and how he just loved God with all his heart. He loved God. He loved his wife. He loved his kids. Like he is a great example of a true God-fearing Christian man in this day and age. And he is going to, I feel like, set this panel on fire. So,
we got some heavy hitters coming.
We have some heavy hitters coming, and me and Felicia are going to facilitate. I will probably give most of the facilitating duties to Felicia because she is good with keeping people on track. As you can see, we've been on this live for 1 hour and 18 minutes, and I have done a terrible job of keeping time.
Look, it's okay. It's okay because I think the panel that I did, what was that?
Yeah,
Was it like
that was
2
almost
hours?
2 hours. That was almost 2 hours. And honestly, I had a great time doing that panel because we had so much fun, but at the same time, it was a lot of craziness that went down. So
that it can't even be aired.
Yeah, exactly. And she did a panel a while back. She has experience with doing this, and so she's coming along to help me. This is right up her alley. She wanted to be a part, and I just knew I knew I had to bring her in because of her expertise in that area and just how well she is as far as giving it to you straight and no chaser. She's going to come with some heavy, hard hitting questions. I'm definitely coming with some good questions, but she's gonna put you on your toes. She's gonna call out some stuff that everybody's thinking, and she's gonna put it out there. And so I'm excited about having her on the panel and having her to be to help me facilitate. I'm definitely going to be the facilitating host or whatever you want to call it. I guess she would be like the moderator that she'll be the moderator, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Vice President. Your time is up, Mr. Vice President. I'm gonna be the one that's gonna put everybody on mute if you go over your 2 minutes. You're not playing that game.
Mute your mic.
Right, I'm muting mics. If you go across your 2 minutes, you have been warned. If you watch this and you're part of the panel, you have been warned. I'm muting your mics. But we're not having that debacle. We are not having that. No. And if you talk over someone, muting. You go.
Look, you give up your turn for a round.
Right. This ain't a political ring. This is everyday life.
This is so funny. But before we go, I do want to just say thank you for, thinking of me and considering me, for reaching out and saying, hey, sis, would you like to do it, and giving me the opportunity to do this with you. Like you said, you're a part of my panel, so I'm definitely honored to be a part of yours. And I know this is going to be amazing. It's going to be phenomenal. I am so excited. I'm ready. I've already been telling people about it. As soon as we have the graphics for it, I already know we're going to be sharing, and I'm thankful and I'm honored and I'm excited, for us to go ahead and tag team this. And, I know our panel is going to be fire. It's going to be bomb. Y'all are in for a treat. For everybody that's watching and those who are going to watch later, you are definitely in for a treat.
A treat indeed. And I can't wait to put it out there. Man, and I'm working on the graphics, I'm working on everything now. But yeah, our title or the title for the discussion or for the panel is going to be Vote Your Values. And
Vote Your Values.
Talking about that subject, and we're going to be talking about biblical stuff. How are we supposed to vote biblically in this election when we have two candidates that are not biblical at all, not even close to it. So how do you vote biblically in that? And like not only that, but we're going to dive deep and look at the church's role and how it's supposed to guide you I won't say influence because that's such a huge word, but guide you in the right candidates to make. I know that pastors aren't supposed to tell you who you're supposed to vote for and anything like that, but I do believe that pastors are accountable for giving you information, vital, valuable information, and helping you to understand who the candidates are. I'm not saying that they got to stand up in the pulpit and say vote for Trump or vote for Biden. You know what I'm saying? Like they need to be able to give you the facts about what we have, and not just on the national level, not just in the national politics. I'm talking about our state and local level leaders. To me, this election is more important on the state and local level than it is for the actual office of the president and the vice president. And the reason why I say
Mhm.
that is because a lot of the issues that we see in our communities today are really because of the fact that we have put the wrong leaders in place in our
Mhm.
state and local levels. We want to see change on a national level, but that national level change isn't going to take place unless we elect the right people on our state and local levels.
Exactly.
And people talk about reform and more money to teachers and this, that, the third. All that stuff is great, but that stuff really comes to our state and local level leaders. I'm talking about
Yep.
our governors. I'm talking about our Senate members, our House representatives, all those individuals who have seats opening up. People
Our
that
police chief.
our police chiefs, our the sheriffs,
Our Yep.
everyone,
Our judges.
our judges, and all of that, because these are people that really govern our day-to-day lives. Of course, they take
Mhm.
orders from the president, but a lot of the decisions that come from the top of the house are dealt with on the state and local level. And they really don't really have too much of a say. The government in and of themselves don't have too much of a say so unless it gets into their hands. So
Yep.
um,
And the
that
president cannot trump what what your local laws are.
exactly, exactly. So
And a lot
um,
of people don't know that.
a lot of people don't know that. So my thing is, I want to hold this panel. It is literally the Friday before election, because I want to at least give my listeners, people that listen to me on the show, the faithful few, I appreciate you, and even to like everyone who's going to tune in, I want you guys to be able to be a part of something. Connect with someone that you identify with. If they speak in your language and you want to vote that person, vote for whoever they're voting for because of that. Awesome, do it. You have your right. You have the
Yeah.
right to vote. This is what it's all about. People say rock the vote and this, that, and the third. Just go vote.
Vote your values.
Just vote right. Vote your
Rock
value.
the vote is vote your values.
Vote what you believe.
Right.
But at the same time, do your research, get to know what each and every one of these people are about. And it's funny because we have so much coming out this day and age with the politicians. Cal Cunningham just had a lapse in judgment. Sending text messages to a woman outside of this, this guy. But we have to look at what these politicians are all about. We have to
Yeah.
really study, know what kind of laws they're passing, what they back, what they support, what they don't support, and
Mhm.
jump on whatever bandwagon you want to jump on with them. So this panel is all about that. It's not to influence you or anything like that. It's to help you. It's to help you
Right.
learn more about the state of the country, learn more about how to vote, what to vote for, what to do, whatever. And not only that, but also learn how to not be so heavily influenced by faith leaders who have, I would say, a very influencing or condescending tone when it comes to voting, because they'll tell you exactly who to vote for without saying
Mhm.
vote for this person. So
Mhm.
like I said, I feel like I said this earlier. I feel like this election is bigger, in my opinion, than just abortion and same-sex marriage.
Exactly.
We have some real issues that are being ignored in our country. A lot of these are sin issues, yes, that the church should be dealing with, but a lot of these issues should be, if we are like Vice President Pence and we trust the judicial system, we need the right people in the judicial system to make the right choices, to do the things that's going to actually help benefit our people, and not just
Yep.
our people, but the other minorities, the Hispanics, the Asians, and even the majority, like the whites and everyone. Everyone. This is America. We are a melting pot for a reason. We need true
Mm-hmm.
leadership. I'm going to stress that we need true leadership.
We do.
I don't see it with either one of these candidates, but we still need true leadership.
We
Uh,
do. And
so,
TJ, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm just gonna shut up because I know we going over. When you speak about we need leadership for our people. One thing that I've been saying, and if you guys that are watching decide to repeat this, please give me my credit, please. But I've been saying for some time now, I do not feel like my ancestors died for me to have the right to vote for the less racist white man or white woman,
mhm,
or just because a person shares the same skin color or same hue, or the same melanin that I share. I really don't feel as though that's the reason why they died for us to vote. I feel as though that they died for us to vote for a candidate who has our best interests at heart, who, can get those things addressed and acknowledged and changed. I feel like that's the reason why they died for us to vote, not just for a presidential candidate, but like you said, for our local leaders. They died for us to be able to have a place on the jury, for us to be tried fairly, because we can't be tried fairly if we're not a part of the jury.
right.
They died for us to have a chance to be a judge, for us to be the DA, for us to be lawyers, for us to even be the prosecutor.
Yep.
They die for us to have a right to be in every branch of the judicial system from the top to the bottom,
Mhm.
so that way we can get the change, and so that way we can get the equality and the justice and everything that we deserve. So I say to every single Black, brown, melanated man, woman, or child, make sure that when you are going out to vote, you are not only voting your values, but also look at the people who are in office and how they feel about you.
Yep.
Because no matter what, you are not exempt. We are not exempt. We even see women are not exempt. Children
Hmm.
are not exempt from being discriminated against. They
Yep.
are not exempt from being killed. They are not being exempt from being kidnapped. So they are not exempt from. No one is exempt from this treatment.
All right.
Human trafficking is real. It's
It's real.
real. We are disappearing. And it's one of those things where, as a Christian and also as a Black woman, those are things that I think about when people say, oh, well, just vote, 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 vote. The people who came before me, those brave souls who came before me, those brave souls who marched,
Hmm.
who, defied all odds, who thought for themselves,
Hmm.
because that's big. We're not thinking for ourselves. We're allowing other people to think for us.
Yep.
Those brave people who look like us, they didn't die for us to choose the lesser of two evils. And honestly, and you know what, I'm gonna hold this for our panel. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna sit on it. I know what I'm gonna say. But after I said I was gonna shut up. But as you can see, this is something I'm really, really passionate about. And if you want to check my credentials, my father was the mayor
Yep.
back in Jersey. That doesn't hold, weight, but it holds weight. And when he was in office, the township that he lived in Willingboro, every hood has a Martin Luther King.
Mm.
They
Right.
didn't have that. He put
Wow.
one there. He put one there. So he was always out in his community. And I'm not saying that my father is a perfect candidate, but what I'm saying is I saw his community service,
Hmm.
and he's not perfect by no means. He's
Yep.
not perfect, but I will say when I look at a candidate that looks like us,
Hmm.
I want to see what they're doing for their community. What changes are you making? And I'm more so talking on the lower level.
Yep.
What changes are you making? What are you doing? What is it that you stand for? What are you allowing? What are you taking a stand against?
Right.
You know, that's what they died for people like that who aren't afraid, who aren't going to be swayed, who aren't going to be easily pushed this way or tugged this way. No, they're going to stand flat footed and firm.
Yep.
This is what we need. And they're not just going to talk about it, they're going to be about it.
Hmm.
So I'm done. I'm off my little soapbox, you know,
Come on,
and
soapbox.
yeah, I just had to get that out because you were talking on it, and I said I was gonna save it for the
Right.
panel, but
No, this is good.
you
Give us
threw the bait out, and
another,
I caught it, and you
right.
reeled me in.
So everybody know what they got to look forward to because it's gonna be good. Like I said, it's gonna be on October 30th, at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock
It's
on the
it's
dot.
only we're gonna start on time. I promise you're gonna start on time. I'm gonna
Yep,
try to
grab
get
your
everybody
popcorn,
ready
grab
to
your
go
snack.
30 minutes before. We're gonna have it. We're gonna have it going.
Mm-hmm.
See all that good stuff because it's going to be really good. And I really thank you, Felicia, for accepting I would say the invite, I guess, but for just wanting to be a part. You know, I'm honored to have you on, and I'm honored to have each and every panel guest on. You guys don't understand how humble and how much I love you guys, how much I thank you guys so much for wanting to be a part and want to help. I love it. I love you guys. And so please mark the date, October 30th at 7 p.m.
October 30th.
October 30th at 7 p.m. We will be doing the discussion panel on vote your values. And you can see the guests at the bottom of the screen. We got Shay Bynes, Keith Giles, Omar Pickett, Keith. I think I tore his name up. It's not Keith, it's David Robinson, and, and Charles Brown. He gonna get me. What he said? David Robinson. Let me go ahead and fix that so that
You
we
can
got.
always repost.
It's already too late. It's already out there. Y'all see it. But anyway, yeah, vote your values. We have some heavy hitters on this panel. They're going to give us some great knowledge. Whatever questions you have, please, you can leave them on this. Well, I'm actually going to edit parts of this out, and whatever questions that you have, you can leave it on this post. So this is going to be on the part that I edit out. But whatever questions that you have, please leave it on this post. Me and Felicia will be pulling questions from the audience, from the audience, because we want to ask the questions that you have that you want answered. You know, this is not just about us. This is about you guys, and doing something for you guys so that everyone can get questions answered, that can help them to make an informed decision. So with that being said, we are officially at 1 hour and 34 seconds. 34 minutes
Almost
over.
35 minutes.
Right, almost 35 minutes. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in and for being a part. This is One Faith. And please make sure that you check out my sis, her podcast, which is A Dose of Fee. She has the Facebook page and everything going with it. So definitely check her out. Go to her Facebook, all her social media stuff. Just hit her up. Like, comment, share, all this good stuff. You know, support her big time. And definitely share this video so that more people can hear about what we're doing, hear about the discussion. They can tune in, they can talk about it. Either if you're listening on a delayed basis, you know, feel free to comment, feel free to chime in, feel free to do whatever. You know, I'm not going to respond. Stop. Especially if you're talking some mess. I'm not gonna stoop down to your level, but
We're
you
gonna
know.
fly higher.
You're right, exactly. I'm gonna fly high. I'm gonna act like my position. But yeah, definitely. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is One Faith.